Hello, Ray.
Hello.
Hi, hi, hi. Highlight.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
Oh,
Light.
Good
I wish.
morning.
Have you seen Yagami anywhere?
Huh?
Much. You're hard to hear, Light.
Am I? I have a new headset now.
Here, let me bring you up. Maybe it's my side.
Yeah, I've got a new headset. I'm also not in my usual setup, so
Gotcha. Fair enough.
I
I
brought you
am.
up.
I am in Florida. I am in.
Florida.
Yeah, I am in my boyfriend's bedroom because he's
Oh.
out in the main space. So if you hear someone, it's him.
Uh,
Sounds good.
as long as we don't hear squeaking.
The only squeaking you might hear is from his kitten.
Mm,
Oh,
I love. Oh my gosh! Do you want pictures?
I would love
sure.
pictures.
I have more pictures of this cat on my phone than I do of him.
That's hilarious. Oh, it's so adorable.
Isn't she precious?
She's so adorable.
I love her. She's a little lady.
That's very cute. Are you already streaming, Ray, or are you going to be?
I'm going to be.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to finish this bag of popcorn before I start.
Mm. Apologies, my background looks like a mess. I just kind of unpacked everything from the car and vomited it everywhere. It's a disorganized heap. And then I was like
EJ,
tearing through it again, so even though I kind of organized it as it was being put here, I disorganized it again trying to find the webcam.
EJ, where in Florida are you again?
Orlando.
Oh my God, you're so close.
I know. We could actually
So,
see each other in real life. Meet up for a real life session one time.
why'd you
I'm,
decide to move to Orlando?
Because I have my job here. I am now 10
Oh,
minutes away from the headquarters of the place I work at.
what
that's
do you
so
work
nice.
as?
I work as a programmer for Crew, Christian organization. Shares the
Wait,
gospel
what?
and stuff. I work as a programmer. Long story
Oh,
short.
okay.
Yep.
Wow.
It's fun stuff. Wish
I
there
knew
was an
what EJ
instruction
was
manual.
smart.
Yeah, EJ is over here being like, I'm a programmer. I'm over here like, I'm trying to get my temporary teaching certificate so I can teach once I graduate in December.
I mean, hey, teaching is. Oh, wait, my
It's
brain's
oh
very
my
tired. Sorry, I just short circuited. That's really cool. That's very cool.
Thank.
The idea I was trying to express, but then like the train of thought crashed and derailed and died, was I was trying to say that also takes skill and talent and cool stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I don't have my education degree. I just have my English degree. But I know I've worked with enough kids
hmm
that I can
You
keep them
gonna
in
be an
mind.
English teacher?
Yeah.
Nice.
Gonna be an English teacher like no one was before. This
There's a
might be a
lot
bit of a
of
zany session. My brain's like on fumes.
I'm not gonna help with that because I've had an idea rattling around my head
Oh
since our
yeah, you
last
said
session.
you threatened you were gonna make me improvise, and I don't know what it's gonna happen. I'm terrified but excited.
You're gonna have to improvise several times if things go according
Oh
to plan.
boy, I love it. I can only I can only imagine this will end well considering how slow my brain is. I haven't had good sleep for the past like 3 days in a row. But I'm excited, legitimately. This should be fun. This campaign's always really fun. No one is speaking, it makes me awkward.
Sorry, I was replying to Kat about my cat.
Oh, gotcha.
Her name is Kat.
Making it simple.
Kimpton.
2022.
Yeah, she was a stray,
Mhm.
and they got her in by just and they just kept calling her the cat, and now she answers to
Hey, Bump. Welcome.
Cat.
How did I beat Cat?
I don't know. I don't know. Because cats just kind of walk around and do whatever they want to and abide by their own
Wait, Ray, you
timetables.
don't walk your cat?
I didn't know it was possible.
You don't walk your cat? That's so weird.
My dad has his cat inside his room, never lets him out because
We get
my
to see
dog
Cat's
will eat him
face.
alive.
Wait.
My cat.
Do you walk your cat?
No.
You have a
Sometimes
cat,
I
Ray?
walk. Sometimes I
Oh,
walk
what?
my cat.
That's my
I
roommate's
didn't even
cat.
know you could walk them.
My cat's sleeping because she got tired after her walk.
Ah, incredible.
I know. I'm proud of her.
My cat is sleeping. She's not my cat. She's my boyfriend's cat, but she's basically
Oh.
my cat. Is sleeping outside the bedroom right now.
Yeah. My first cat that I got like 3 weeks ago, she died. So I adopted her sister. Yeah, she died of pneumonia. Look,
Oh,
this is my first
Aw.
cat's tiny little paw print,
Aw.
but my new cat, her paws are a lot bigger. Yeah. I like your haircut, EJ.
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
the first cat's name was Nyx, because that was my favorite name ever. So I adopted one named Nyx. And this one's Nova, and I made her middle name to be Nick.
I
So-
love the name Nova.
Yeah, so
You
it's
should tell them the
Nova.
meme that I sent you.
All right, we're
what
live.
meme you send me?
The
Tell
Nova
me.
meme.
Tell me.
The CS gun.
Oh,
Blue Nova.
tell me it.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's an
tell me about
amazing
it.
picture cat. Did you frame it up to look like a shadow of the cat? On
No, she
purpose?
sat on that.
That's awesome. That makes it even better.
Asserting her dominance at an early age. I support it.
Mhm.
She's like 14 weeks.
She's a baby.
Yeah, her sister was like 3 times as small as her. And I had her on oxygen and also on an IV, and she still passed away. I had her on Clavamox and Doxy, and her
gosh.
brother had the same sickness as her, so I donated my medicine to her brother after she passed.
Aww.
Mm. But her brother's getting better, because as soon as I caught it in my cat, I emailed the shelter. I was like, this is what's going down. They're like, oh crap, let me check out the rest of the siblings. So thankfully, me noticing it was able to help the other cat.
That's
Nice.
a
That's
silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all obviously gain Nyx's powers. They gain. the
No,
strength of
only
Nyx.
Nova did. She's
Only
a
Nova does.
supernova.
Only Nova.
She's a supernova.
That's
Yeah, I
cool.
like Nova because she plays fetch with me.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that is
My dog
cute.
won't even play fetch with me.
Yeah, she goes on walks, she plays fetch. She
She's
drives me
so
crazy.
powerful.
Undercat.
Alrighty.
Okay, just a heads up, I am live.
Oh,
What are your
Yes.
food for?
I have coleslaw.
I don't
Ew.
like
Just
that.
on the way here.
Ew, the
Hey, that's
devil's
my
lettuce.
name.
I haven't had coleslaw in such a long time.
My last name's Coleslaw.
What?
Pick up the slaw.
Oh boy. No, she just always slays.
I thought it was Ananias.
No, that's my first name.
Oh, okay.
Ananias
Oh my
Coleslaw.
gosh. New canon
Ananias
established. I eagerly take notes.
Wait, that's actually my real life initials. AC.
Mm,
Huh.
Ananias Coleslaw.
sounds cool. Like air
I
conditioning.
didn't know that you were air conditioning.
I
You're-
am air
you're
conditioning.
Animal Crossing?
This
Okay.
camera hates me. The lighting is not good.
I think you look great, Pumpkin.
It's just making my face like one like solid white sheet.
At least it's not.
It's not as
Yeah,
bad as
sorry,
mine.
I do that sometimes.
As
I'm
long as
sorry.
you're not a smurf.
Wait, but mine is worse. I have like the side highlight, man.
It's
Yeah, I'm
color
sorry.
correction on or something?
I
Like,
just,
what is
I just do
this?
that sometimes.
I think it's established we all have bad lighting at this point.
Sorry, okay?
Except-
I can't
okay.
do
Just
it
a light
everywhere on
bulb
Earth,
inside my desk lamp.
fine.
I always
I'm
forget
not
that
a
light's name is
fan-
Light.
Of this part of the nose, like my nose doesn't stick out right there. It just looks like it does because of the lighting. Like when I scrunch it, it looks like my nose has a second nose. Ah! It doesn't, guys, though.
Good to know. My mind is put at ease. I was
Stop
really worried
hoarding
about
all,
that.
stop hoarding all the noses.
Actually,
for
when you
yourself,
squinch
Pat.
like that, it reminds me of a really pointy nose. It gets pointy near the end there.
Hey, guys, if anybody's watching this, I just want you to know, I mean, like, if anybody's on Ray's stream, I want you to know that your nose doesn't look weird, and it actually suits your face quite well.
It does.
Yeah, tell them that, because they need
That's
to
her
know
name
that.
is Ethan.
Listen, Ethan doesn't look like Seb. But
Wow, my cousin. All right, is everybody ready to go?
Yeah.
Cool.
I am.
I'll let you guys decide. Do we want to start with Pumpkin and
Them first, because we already continued our
that
story.
makes sense. Oh, I was gonna
True.
catch them up with what you guys did last time, but
no,
yeah,
we
we
can
can go ahead and
because
describe that as we
no,
go.
no, no, you'll catch us up afterwards because
The
it's
less
happening
they
at the
know,
same
the
time.
better.
Well,
Yeah,
not
because
really, because
exactly.
they're
Our
technically
story to
in
affect
canon
them.
a day ahead, so you guys are already ahead, and yeah.
No,
trying to
because
catch
we can start
Yeah, let's leave
Before
it a mystery. I don't
canon.
want to know what they did.
Okay.
because
Cool.
we don't
But
actually
knowing
know what
we
they did.
could affect.
That's what we're saying.
you're
We
going
don't
to do.
Yeah,
know.
exactly. We don't want to metagame accidentally.
Exactly.
Literally,
No metagaming.
you will find out what they did just by nature of what they're doing next, so it doesn't
That-
matter.
That's
Well,
fine.
yeah,
but
That's
we
no,
don't know
once-
it
right now, shut up.
Okay. Anyway,
Once we move on, they can hear what we did. Just that they can
I
know.
should not have even given you guys the choice.
But, like,
this is way more time than I wanted to waste on this
Way-
discussion.
It's easier to not metagame if they just don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Matters.
okay, Carmen and Ananias, after the
Hey,
destruction...
Pumpkin, can you make your background less blurry?
I was hoping that would fix the lighting issue, which it looks like it did.
No,
It
you
makes
just
it a
have a
lot
heavenly
worse.
halo.
Yeah, it
Does
makes it worse. I think that
I think it
fixes
looks
the
better,
face
actually.
issue,
No, actually, get rid of it.
because it stopped having my face constantly trying to change lighting.
No, your face is correct.
His face
Your
is
face
always
is
correct.
correct.
Excuse you.
My cheeks just fade into the rest of me.
That
My
part
beard
looks good.
slowly disappears.
No,
Like,
you're
And
not
my
seeing it right
eyes
then.
like sink away.
No, your eyes are
an
correct.
ugly pump is worth it if it means the lighting is not gross.
Why could I only think of the Picasso paintings whenever he was describing his face?
The problem was, whenever you had the blurry on, it kept creeping into your face. So
Good.
suddenly parts of your face would get blurry. And that's a lot worse.
Well, my name is Blurry Face.
Do you care what I think?
Do you see the blur anymore?
I guess that's not your name anymore.
My name can still be Blurry Face.
Alright, I'm on my way to the city.
Yeah, we are on our way into the city on my horse midnight.
Yeah, and I think we're stopped at the side of a road right now.
We
Is that
did-
right?
I
we
would
did
love
the
to be able to
camp.
give you guys the
We
recap.
did- no, you and I stopped on the side of the road to camp.
Yeah.
And you are slowly shifting to look more like my sister.
I'm trying to look like you, but
Yeah,
I'm ending up not looking exactly like you. Listen, I'm out of practice, my
Fine,
friend.
that's identity theft. We don't need that here. But looking like a sibling is good. We can
Okay,
roll
okay.
with that. And we are heading towards the city. I think that's a very succinct recap. Doing EJ.
I was just gonna
We don't
give some
need EJ's
nice
help.
details. Okay. Do you want me to just like skip ahead to like
Did I
ignore
miss anything?
I mean, you could say more
Yeah.
things for Ray's stream.
Yeah, okay. For
What
the
did I miss?
content, for Ray's stream, you guys know what's happening. This is for everyone else who has no idea what's happening. So we left off after the destructive cult gathering in the sewers. Carmen and Ananias departed from Westwood in the late evening and decided to camp along the road in a secluded rock outcropping with a distant view of the sparkling torchlights of Winterport. There, Carmen and Ananias spent some time talking about their future plans to meet with Lady Lillian and track down the kidnapped prince. Since Ananias no longer had a cult or a purpose to follow, Carmen summoned a celestial black stallion the next morning for the both of them to ride back to her mountain home. They stopped briefly in New Thunder Tree to buy Ananias a less creepy cloak and use the river crossing to set them along their journey back to the northeast. They bypass Kara Kara Oasis in their haste to cut across the Badlands, the arid climate making even Midnight breathe hard despite his magical strength and unnatural size. But at long last, a full day of exhausting travel later, hey, sounds familiar. Carmen, Ananias, and their trusty steeds set up camp near the kingdom of Lunimus, close enough to get there by morning. It is there that Ananias received a cryptic summons for the remainder of her cult to meet that morning at Colville's Ash. Although I made a mistake when I was giving that message because I said that Colville's Ash was to the east, not the west. I always get those two confused. I'm sorry, I lied. So Colville's Ash is actually to the far west, not the east. Whoops. So you guys wake in the morning and you can continue your travel to Lunimus and arrive there by sunrise if you'd like.
And Colville's Ass was actually much too far for me to be able to travel.
It was a couple days travel away, however, you do know that there is a teleport circle there, so as long as you find someone who's
But it's
able
already
to cast
morning.
that spell. Nope, it is before the sun has risen, so you are still able to make your appointment, and technically, I mean, if you're late, who really cares at this point? Your cult has been shattered into oblivion. Thanks, Pumpkin. But what makes it difficult for me is I don't know all of who's going to be there because Pumpkin and Mama Swizzle are talking to some of the cult members and they
Hey,
are
no
a day
metagaming.
behind, so if they kill them, I don't
No metagaming, no
time
metagaming.
paradoxes.
No
yeah.
metagaming, no gaming.
Yep. So what I honestly want to do, just for this is a suggestion, you can take it or leave it because you guys always like to argue about stuff. We
I
can
love
either
arguing.
I can retcon it and say that the meeting is one day in the future because it doesn't really make sense for them to give the summons out, like say, hey, I know it's like 10 p.m., but hey, can you get there by dawn? And just like no one's gonna be able to make a day travel in that amount of time anyway, so it would totally make sense for him to say, you know, the next day that morning.
Maybe it's an emergency meeting.
I mean, he's just trying.
Who hit the button?
The summoning is trying to happen, but if
I mean,
it would make
if-
better narrative structure as well. So like adventure
Then yes,
structuring,
if
then
it makes
it would be good.
better
I feel
narrative
like it
structure,
does
then do
make
that.
More, they're not gonna be like, total annihilation of our cult. That
I should
splintered
stop
us
giving you
into
guys
1,000
options.
of-
I should have just lied and said it was
Yeah,
it was an extra day.
Or we could just switch it and then have me and Ray go first. It's just I wanted them to get
No,
their
it's
fun
fine.
in first.
Yeah, we'll just say, you know,
I think a day later is
Ananias,
good.
it's your cult. Do you want it to be this morning or the next morning?
Well, actually, when I first read the note, I read it wrong. So I thought it was this morning, but that was my mistake. So I reread it and I checked, and it is going to be tomorrow. Oh, I was
Yeah,
really scared for a
technically
second.
it does say tomorrow morning. So I mean, maybe it was just the wee hours of the
Yeah.
morning. So it was, you know, time zones,
see,
time
they were in a
zones.
different
That's
time
the
zone.
problem. Yeah.
There, and
You got
then later
confused.
on, like once you saw that there was no one else there, you like checked your email and the professor canceled class. So, like,
Yeah.
you don't need to be there at all.
Oh, that's happened too many times
So
to me.
is it just canon that Ananias just always gets confused about appointments at dawn?
Amen. You know it.
Anyway, so you guys wake up and you don't have an appointment to catch immediately, so you can depart early, you can depart when the sun rises, but you have awoken on the road near Lunimus. No one has bothered you during the night. No wild animals. It's a pretty peaceful encounter. You're low on rations, though, after your travel.
Yeah.
It's shopping time.
I'd summon Midnight again if I need to.
I think he just stays summoned until you dismiss
Cool.
him, or
Oh,
he dies.
sick. Even better. So I think we mount up, and as we ride into the city, Karma's gonna be like, we should give you a temporary name while in the city, just to separate you from any activities.
Mm. Yes. Yes. What do you think about this? Yeah, give me a name.
You want me to give you a name?
Yeah, I'd like a name. One name, please. To go.
Um, Thinks about it for a second.
Do you have any siblings? Any family?
I I have a sister. But there's always, knowing my mother, there's always room for more.
Oh
Look at
my.
me. I am your sister now.
I am your captain now.
See, it sounded to me like, yeah, she was trying to replace your sister.
How about, what if we gave you the nickname Val? And that
Val?
way it can be
Okay.
Valentino or Valentina, depending on how you're feeling.
I'm feeling like Valerie. So neither.
There.
Interesting.
I just-
So,
Okay,
I
Val.
just
so
didn't
Carmen,
wanna
Carmen's aware of the multiple like
Well,
voices
I mean,
at this point.
there's multiple voices and multiple hands. It's some sort of weirdness. She doesn't want to conform someone to a single gender, EJ.
No, but I'm just saying, does your character like have you experienced Ananias like being different things at different times?
At this point, she shouldn't be sure, but
It's not 100% sure, but it's not a bad offer either way.
I think she doesn't know that there's multiple voices I can take on, but she doesn't know if I'm a boy or a girl
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
I keep my hood on. So
Good point.
Valerie, that's a pretty name though. We can work with that. If you would like.
I'll go with Val,
Val.
short for Val
Val.
Marie.
All
Sure.
right.
Okay. I think with that settled, we
Right on.
we
Nice.
keep riding until we reach the city gates. Or
Cool.
I should say the gates to the kingdom.
Nice. Yes, you
It's to the
ride
province.
towards the tall mountains that are in the distance, and they grow larger and more imposing as you approach. You see the sparkling light of the rising sun reflecting off of some golden rooftops of watchtowers that align the tops of the mountains that surround the walls, or that form the defensive walls of Lunimus. You see a large golden gate, two golden gates that separate outward in order to defend the city as you approach, and you find a small squad of 4 elven guards at the outskirts of the city that seem to be, observing, watching, making sure everything is alright. You also notice in the distance, kind of patrolling every once in a while, a horseman, another scout, kind of examining the area. Carmen, you would recognize that this is more guards than usual for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Are we headed north?
North, east. Always get it confused. I got it right this time. Northeast. I think I'm
Okay.
right. I hope I'm right. Just grain of salt every time I say east or west.
I'm just
You're
trying to picture
starting
it
to
in my
sound
head.
like me, EJ.
Yeah.
Do any of the squads approach or try to stop us?
Well,
Because unlike most people who are probably waiting in line, I'm just riding directly to the front because of course I have special snowflake privileges.
yeah, off to the left you see the main marketplace where most of the actual people are who are doing their business and aren't necessarily allowed into the city. Only people who are authorized and important or whatever are actually allowed through the main big gates of the city, and you definitely fit that bill. They clearly see your cloak billowing in the wind with the crest of Lunimus upon it, so they kind of nod to you as they see you approaching with your large paladin armor and all that. Yes, Kat?
So does that make this the southwest entrance that we're entering in? And
Technically, it is more to the south. As you approach, the
Okay.
actual entrance is kind of nestled within a small valley.
so
Leading up to
if
it.
we are entering through the south entrance,
Mhm.
is the kingdom like the main castle of it? Is it in the center of this fortress, or is it like the north, or is it closer to us?
You're talking about the castle?
The castle's a bit of a ride from the entryway.
But so is it in the center of this,
It is
or is it
built into the
north?
mountain on the far side away from the gate.
Okay.
So you would not necessarily see it. However, you would be impressed by all the other buildings that kind of rise like skyscrapers, like a city, almost kind of modern
Like a
looking.
city?
Within the walls, or the walls of this mountain kingdom. So the guards, without even questioning it, they don't know who this other interloper is, but they recognize Carmen, so they open the gates for you on your horse. One
Excellent.
kind of bows to you without saying anything. Another
He just looks at him, be like, "Good work, Parker."
Oh, the name!
he gives you finger guns.
That's so cute.
Another one, as you enter into the gates of the city that open for you, another one goes, "Ah, Miss Carmen, it is good to see you back. We worried."
I was informed to come back upon.
Yes, Lady Lillian is expecting you, for sure. We're glad to see you are all right.
I shall ride to the castle and meet with her at once.
Okie dokie. So yeah, you ride through basically the center, like main street of the city, seeing tall buildings decorated with colors of blue, gold, silver, various shades of gray. It's very shiny, very elegant. There are all kinds of magical enchantments and freely elven-inspired metalwork. There are glass walkways that connect different buildings across through like sky bridges. It's very like open, airy, kind of cool, and clearly this place uses a lot of magic. Some floating platforms are also moving around, shipping different items from here to there. Actually, Light, would you like to describe your city anymore, considering it's your hometown?
Yeah. There's all of this stuff that EJ has mentioned, and also, like, there's a weight to the air of magic that when Carmen feels it, it's like she finally can let loose some of the tension that she's been carrying. But for Val, it's probably like an unexpected weight on their chest of like, oh, there's a lot here. And it's also like super common to see children playing with magic in the streets, casting cantrips, or playing with like magical toys of one sort or another.
They learn so fast.
Um, just it seems like magic is something that's been baked into this very society, and everyone, no matter if you're someone who has innate magic or not, can have access to the ease that it gives you. So
What would you say the
yeah.
people in this on the street are doing in their day-to-day activities?
Um, there's probably a lot of the younger ones are going to school, because public education is obviously a big deal here. Um, Other than that, there are those who are working, probably taking apprenticeships as different sorts of mages and creators. That's heavily emphasized here. And if the path of being a mage or someone who's like a creator, inventor doesn't interest you, there's always the occupations that, like farmer, growing things for this very self-sustaining kingdom, um, or even becoming a warrior. They're always welcoming people who'd prefer being martial over magic as well. So there's
So,
always a lot of hubbub and stuff going on.
I'm just laughing because Kat's face looks like she's like examining the tour guide and deciding what part she wants to partake in.
No, that's actually what I was thinking. I was thinking, Ananias is really gonna like this place. Ananias says to Ananias. I was also thinking about the planet we're on, or the area we're at. Do we experience seasons?
Yeah, we get seasons here.
What season are we in? Does it appear
Autumn.
to be?
EJ, what season are we
Autumn.
in? Autumn. So that means
Autumn.
Close to harvest.
a lot of the trees have their multicolored leaves like falling to the ground. They're
Yes.
being bundled together. To
Photosynthesis is canon. As opposed
No, actually, in my world, it's not called photosynthesis. Because I'm edgy that way, and I wanted to reinvent the wheel. They don't use glucose; they use sulfur.
Sulfur?
I don't know.
Some of the trees even look like they're made of metal. and
Ooh.
they're being like pruned and having their branches shaped for optimal growth for the next few years.
And then being melted down in order to make little, instead of wood carvings, they call them tree statues.
So there's a lot of like really creative and like new things that have not been shared with outsiders and probably never will be.
Very neat. Ananias, who is going to be going by Val, looks around excitedly. They seem to have not been in a city this big before, and they are holding on pretty tightly. And I assume, are we on like a flat path, or are we going uphill? Is it hilly in this area?
No, it's pretty flat.
Yeah,
Except for,
okay.
if you look out into the distance, you might see some gentle inclines, and you see the field of wheat that she was talking about, with the harvest coming up, etc.
In that case, you could probably feel Ananias tense up behind you. You can't tell if it's excitement or if it's pure fear at the sight of so many people being around. As Ananias, one who doesn't tend to exit their hole in the ground very much. Not literally, but they don't seem to interact with people too often.
Carmen just kind of turns her head slightly to look behind her and just says, "Don't worry, we'll be out of the crowd soon."
Do you take your horse to the stables, or do you just ride straight up to the palace? Bust down the door.
No, I take my horse to the stable. Midnight deserves a stall. Are you
He's a
kidding
good
me?
boy. He deserves some hay.
Aw.
He's been worked super hard the past few days.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you take your horse to the stable and give him a pat. Hand him to the stable boy, who nods to you and seems relieved to see you once again. And then you make your way towards the palace, which you might remember from the one-shot cat. It's large, imposing, carved into the stone wall of the mountainside, and has some intricate stonework.
I do remember that.
So when we get there, I'll gently try to find a servant who isn't,
There are like twice as many guards in front as there were previous. No, 3 times as many guards. There's like 8, 10 guards just kind of around the area, just like we are not letting someone get in or out of this palace without being.
If that's the case, she's gonna look at them and be like, "One of you slackers, go tell Lady Lillian that I'm here."
One of
Send a
them
message
immediately stands up and salutes and runs in. Another one kind of holds up his hand and says, "Miss Carmen, I know who you are. You know who you are. But we have some new policies that we've got to run through. Would you mind proving that you're not an illusion, proving you're not like some kind of magical transforming shapeshifter?"
She leans in. She goes, "Daniel, do I really need to tell all of these fine young cohorts of yours about how when you came here for page training, you peed your bed 17 times within the first year?"
It was 16. The last one didn't count.
Right.
It's her. Let her through. You see him just turn beet red.
Val giggling loudly from behind of Carmen.
Do I need to continue, Daniel?
You just see him kind of like pinch the right here with his gauntlet hand. He's just like, "Oh, why do I have just go on, just go." Waves you in the door.
Exactly. Okay. Yep. Oh, and tell the messengers to send someone to my mother's chambers once the Lady Lillian is ready to see me.
Very well. Who is this guest of yours? Is she
My
trustworthy?
sister.
Oh, it's been a long time
Just keeps walking. Just keeps walking.
Okay, I would have liked to meet her. I'm very single. Anyway, you make your way into this extravagantly, I can't say that word, decorated hallway into the palace. There are obviously standard palace trappings, just generic castle, you get the vibes. There are fancy magic stoneworks and tapestries and lovely red carpet down the down the hall. So yeah, you have a messenger come up to you and says, Lady Lillian is expecting you in the council chambers.
Immediately?
Uh, well, she was under the impression you wanted to see her immediately. If you have time, if you want to do something else, that's, I guess, your prerogative. But she
I just need to drop off my gross, sweaty stuff very quickly.
Would you like any help, ma'am?
No.
Okay.
Alright,
I'll
where are we
just
walking
wait
to?
here then.
Are we going to like a fancy bathroom or
Poor
something?
chamber one.
Are we going to the powder room?
No, she walks the very familiar path to where her mother and sister have their quarters within the castle, and doesn't even bother knocking, just opens it up, lets herself in, and goes, "Mother, are you home?"
You see her sit up from where she was sitting in a chair, like working on your sister's hair, and like she just kind of stands up in shock, and you hear your sister give out a small yelp of pain as she yanks the hair unintentionally. Oh, Carmen! And she comes to you. Honestly, I thought Carmen's parents died in a carriage accident.
No,
So
her
was that just her
did.
father? Okay.
Her father.
Cool. Didn't know the mother was still alive. I'm improvising this character entirely.
She just calls out, is like, "Sorry, Iz," for getting her hair pulled, and she'll be like, "Mom,
Yes, my dear. What is
I'm back." Also, kind of gestures for Val to step in.
I gingerly step behind the door frame.
You're giving
My
me
hood
way
is
too many
still
new
on,
names
and
to deal with.
I examine the humans who are in front of me. Can I have a physical description of them?
Yeah, hold on. I can. If you give me 2 seconds, I could probably find a picture.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Oh my god, that's not enough time.
Imagine Carmen, but with more muscles.
I don't
I-
know what
More
Carmen
muscles.
looks like.
I literally have a picture of both her mom and her sister. If you just
Whoa,
let me
that's kind of
find
cool.
them. Thank you. There are other NPCs that I use, so I have them on standby.
Have either of you seen Full Metal Alchemist?
Full Metal Alchemy.
You
Right about it being
remember
more
the
muscly,
full Strong Arm Alchemist? That's what I'm imagining her mother look like.
You mean the one with the mustache? Like
Yeah, the one with the mustache, kind of bald on the head, but he has a tuft of hair just sticking out. He likes to flex his muscles all the time.
That's great. Is that how she is, Carmen, or is she
No.
Darn it.
incredibly muscular?
Okay. So here is. This is what her sister looks like. Her hair is a little longer than it is in this picture, because this picture is used for something very particular.
Mm-hmm.
But her hair is longer, and her eyes are the exact same shade of green as one of Carmen's. And you can also see that her mother does not have that. Her eyes are just brown.
Okay, so y'all both have green eyes.
Well, I have one blue, one green.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
Also, as brown is dominant, that means some strange things happened in your genetics.
No,
Interesting.
it's just magic.
I think she
Oh.
may have talked about this. Did Carmen
No.
explain this at one point?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
And then I don't know if I still. Where is her mom's picture? I sent too many pictures to this person.
I cannot get my Discord to load on my computer. This is a good day.
Lovely.
Shakes head.
Shakes it.
Big sad.
Mini wow.
Hmm.
Alright, we can just keep going with it. But her mom's name is Maria and her sister's name is Isabella.
So do you all three have dark hair?
Yes, we all have dark brown hair.
Okay, well, I have managed to replicate your brown hair, and I take off my hood, and I look very suspiciously similar to you, but there's a few inconsistencies with how you look. For instance, both of my eyes are blue, and only one of yours is. I look like my nose is the same as yours, however, my lips go up more into a cupid's bow than yours do. No, I did not draw this. This is something that was AI generated.
Oh, cool.
And then painted over by someone who I follow. So,
Ooh.
Very cool.
yes, not someone I know personally, someone I follow.
That's pretty cool.
Why are you following them?
Because I thought this
That's
picture
pretty
was
stalkery.
very pretty, and I was like, wow. But I don't look exactly like her, but I think this is closer to what it would be. Her eyebrows are also thicker than yours, and her hair is pretty dense, and it is also extremely scraggly, maybe much more so than yours, and it is also unbraided or unput into a ponytail or anything like that.
Okay. She goes, Mother, this is Val.
I awkwardly bow. Let me explain how I bow. I put my hand like this, my other hand on my hip, and I do what I imagine a knightly bow to look like.
Mm-hmm. She gives you a small head duck in return and goes, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Val. And what brings you to this kingdom?"
Val is working with me on several things.
Royal business.
Royal
But
business.
if anyone asks, you have a third daughter.
I do now.
Yes.
You think
I
I
am
would have remembered
honored.
that?
This almost is like Carmen is coming out to her mom, and she's like, "This is my girlfriend and your new daughter."
No,
I am honored to meet you, mother. I stuttered out.
it's a personal headcanon of mine that Carmen's
Oh,
mother has been
man.
planning her wedding to Prince Adrian since the moment those two became friends. I feel like it's like devastation being like, was I looking in the wrong direction? And then be
Oh,
like,
no.
no.
She has the
No, we're
completely
fine.
wrong idea.
Yeah. Val may need a place to stay.
The mom throws the goose Bible.
Your mom seems concerned. You see like kind of fear in her eyes, like, "Oh no, is my
Do I
child
look
like
that scary?
doing something like illegal?
Illegal?
Like, why is she going against the
Right.
royal family, which she is sworn to
It's
protect? What's happening here?"
she grabs her mom's hand and is like, they saved my life.
Ah, I see. And I can only assume there's a good reason for this deception.
It's
Deception? There's
It's
no
not-
deception.
They saved my life while I was attempting to investigate something regarding Adrian. They didn't ask questions. They helped when they didn't need to. They gave a bigger boon to Lunas in that moment than most people could only strive for in their lifetime.
Let me roll for deception. How
You suspicious?
believable do I look?
What?
You look pretty damn
What do you
believable. I
mean
don't need to-
believable? You can't convince
Dude.
this woman that you are her actual daughter. She knows she didn't give birth to you and raise you. What do you mean?
So what? She said, oh, okay. But does she believe that I actually look like this? Or does she think I'm like wearing a mask or something?
You do
That's
look
what I
like
want to know.
that.
You're
What do you mean?
changeling.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Just
that's
making
how you
sure,
look
just
right
making
now.
You're right, that is how I
Alright,
look.
roll
Okay,
a
great.
d20. If you get a crit, then she believes you're her actual daughter.
No, that's not how it works.
Can I roll to
I
see
do
if you
remember
believe?
giving birth to you. I mean, it's really foggy for some reason, but yeah, I think that's right.
Gaslight my
Can I-
mom.
She just wants to roll her dice.
Your mother looks deep into her to your eyes, Carmen, and she kind of can tell like the only reason you would be, you know, doing something like instead of just introducing her as a hero, you're doing this weird thing is if there's something more to the story. And she just kind of goes, "Okay, I trust you."
I'm not the smart woman.
And
Thank you.
She goes, "Well, Val, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the family." And she offers an arm to like give a side hug kind of thing.
I don't know what to do with it. I stand there.
Pushes you forward a little
She
bit.
kind of droops and oh, okay.
I fall. I trip, and then I am hugged, and I pat her on the back.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, we're just
They're both kind of.
falling
You're
to
both
a
kind of
hug.
awkward
I am
now.
cringing for my
She
poor
doesn't.
character's
She
sake.
doesn't quite know like whether she can trust you, but she's willing to for now.
Isabella,
She trusts her daughter, so she's therefore willing to trust you, but you know she doesn't know who you are.
Carmen turns and looks at her actual sister and goes, Isabella, will you try to fill in Val on everything Luna missed while I go talk to her lady Lillian?
Everything. Well, that'll take quite a bit of time.
As much as you can, reasonably. I'm not asking for
Let's
a
see.
miracle.
Can
Only
I
one of us
cast
can
modify
work here.
memory?
No! I mean, doing
Oh,
those
that's gonna
sorts of
take
spells now.
forever.
Who taught you that? Who taught you that?
Does she not know magic? I assume she did because of the green eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Was it Jason?
No. And I
Have you
definitely
ever
haven't
used
used it on anyone.
What you always say is always the right answer.
What? Well, all right. Looks like I have some young men in the library I'll be talking to. After.
No, don't talk to him.
No, I'll be talking to them. All right. We'll talk about restricting your book act. Modify memory. Why?
You can't prove it. I don't have any
younger
evidence.
Sister.
And you'll forget if there was any. And then you slam the door.
Only one of us in this house can work miracles, and that's me. I'll have you know.
Wow.
Yours always involved hitting stuff.
And
Touche.
So younger sister,
yeah, younger sister.
it reminds me of one I own.
I did not prepare enough female
My
voices.
real
I
life
can't do female voices, so the other girl is just gonna sound the exact same.
But she's gonna walk over. She's gonna drop a kiss on Isabella's forehead. Behave, both of you. She points to Val as well. I'll be back shortly, and then she's gonna go see Lillian.
I salute.
Immediately after you leave, your sister's gonna turn to Val and like intently stare at her and go, "So what kind of shenanigans do you want to get up to?"
She smiles.
Is that like a normal smile, like a genuine, real human smile, or is it like a robotic, I don't know how to smile kind of smile?
It's a devious smile.
Ah, you're good at that kind.
How do you modify memory?
And with that,
Please,
maybe we should switch
teach
over
me.
to
Yeah.
what's his face and what's her face. Mama Swizzle and QZeth. So, an autumn chill blows through the streets as you pass by citizens that are shakily preparing for a festival of some kind, though many of them seem on edge after the events of last night with the cultist and the explosion in the town square. You, Mama Swizzle, you, QZeth, and your new companion, temporarily, Shadow, the black dragonborn that you chased through the streets and managed to convince to come with you to speak with the Swinfords, you are making your way back towards the Swinford mansion, past some of the destruction and cracked buildings and streets from the other night. as you are walking by, one of the citizens drops a pot in their preparations, and it shatters on the floor. Yeah, what would you guys like to do? She seems surprised, scared. She mentions something and points into the dark alley. She goes, I thought I saw something in the shadows. Shadow, the Dragonborn, goes, don't look at me.
It isn't his name.
Mama Swizzle just waddles up to the alleyway and have we had a full rest since, or
You have not. No.
Okay.
You basically
you were
came back
dead.
from death, and
Right,
you
yeah.
immediately started chasing this black dragonborn with QZ through the streets, jumping on rooftops and casting spells, and eventually somehow managed to,
Throwing
you know,
rocks
actually convince him
at
with
houses.
your. Was it you got a nat 20 and he got a nat 1 in order to convince him?
Yeah. Yep.
You want to give the stream context for what happened while they
Well,
were.
no, they should remember because they were there.
Ooh,
Not
yes.
everyone
The viewers should remember.
They streamed it.
Long story short, they
okay.
said that they didn't know what happened and wanted to fix what had happened with the cult gathering. Of course, they meant they wanted to end the portal and fix that whole situation. And he said, I agree, but of course, he was meaning more, I want to fix it and make the portal work or whatever, and bring forth the Age of Destruction, etc., etc. So they're on different wavelengths, but technically allies at the moment. Yeah. So Mama Swizzle, you walk up to the alley and look around.
Yeah, I look around, but I use Druidcraft to create an odor of skunk to see if I could draw
Where?
out whoever might be into the alley just randomly.
Okay. It smells bad, but you see
But
no
nothing
one.
comes out.
You see nothing.
All right.
No.
Nothing rattles. All right.
No moving shadows. No
No,
people. No even objects.
Mama
blowing in the
Swizzle
wind.
just
The chilling air.
shrugs and waddles back to Shadow.
Waddles away, waddle, waddle.
Yeah, we're
Till
still
the very
just
next day.
trying to get to the manor, right?
Yes. As you do
Okay.
so, you pass by the main town square, if that matters
Yeah.
to you. So
I mean, we just continue to sneak.
sneak.
That's
Oh.
all I can,
Are you wanting to
For
sneak?
sneaking?
because we didn't want to get the shadow caught.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well,
It was like one of his big things. He was like, I better not get caught.
sure. Okay. Roll me stealth as you're going to try to avoid guards.
At the very least, yeah, we're avoiding guards.
Mhm.
16.
Okay, I will roll for him.
I got a 21.
Nice. Yeah.
Right on.
Let me just check Shadow's modifier.
Did you explain who Shadow was and I forgot?
Shadow
Shadow's
is
a dragonborn.
the black dragonborn, or
The one that was
in
knocked
black
out.
I remember
armor.
him.
Yeah, he got knocked
Okay.
out during the cult fight very early in and didn't get to see what on earth happened with the second half of the fight. Then the Swinfords, which are the spellcasters that QZ rescued the hostages, they teleported him out because they thought that he was part of your party, and then they just let him go because, you know, he was part of your
What
party,
else
but
do
he
you
got
do?
knocked out.
Yeah.
So, you know, but then he wasn't part of the party actually. Yes, you guys managed to sneak around past the guards. Would you want to take a wider berth past the town square where all the destruction is to avoid, you know, people being around for the cleanup effort?
I mean, we got all the time in the world. Why not?
Okay,
We'll be extra cautious.
sure. Yeah, it takes a little bit more time, but you sneak through back alleys and avoid unwanted attention, managing to escape really anyone's notice as you make your way back towards the Swinford Mansion. When you arrive there, the door is open and you see the... Well, actually, I guess you haven't seen them before. It's a short little drow with like some oriental garb. They have pointy ears and like blue and purple sashes draped about their bodies, like robes of some kind. They look like they're a rather elderly elf, dark elf that is, and they are holding a white cat, and they're trying to walk out the door currently, accompanied by a
Is the
city
white cat's
guard.
named Cat?
No.
Is the white cat named Cat?
No.
It should
The
be.
moment Mama Swizzle sees that cat, she stiffens up.
Okay. Interesting. The woman doesn't seem to notice you yet. She's talking to someone in the door. As
Does the
she's
cat notice Mama Swizzle, though?
yeah. The cat
Mama
looks
Swizzle
at
starts
you.
to hide.
Its tail starts swishing back and forth.
Mama Swizzle just hides behind a tree. It
Mama-
starts
Mama
trying
Swizzle.
to really hard climb the tree.
Qzeth goes after Mama Swizzle.
Oh my
Mama
god.
Swizzle, what are you doing?
Mama Swizzle! Mama Swizzle!
Are you like pointing at anything? How else? Are
No,
you
I'm just
not
crying
moving?
Mama Swizzle while I try to climb the tree, but failing
I'm-
miserably.
I'm gonna grab Mama Swizzle and
Mama Swizzle!
put her on my shoulders.
The elf
What-
kind of
what
looks
is
over at
wrong?
all the chaos and
What
just
are you?
goes, "Oh, your neighbors are weird." Then she turns and just walks down the street in the opposite direction. You see Mr.
Swizzle,
Swinford
we
poke his head
need-
out the door looking in the direction of you guys.
Mama Swizzle, we need to get inside. All right, I'll carry you.
Mama Swizzle points at the cat.
The cat is watching over the shoulder and tail still swishing.
She starts burying her beak into your feathers.
The eyes
Muffled sounding.
dilate.
Okay, so we're just gonna rush to the house. Rush
Okay.
inside.
Mr. Swinford opens the door to let you in, and he goes, "Oh, is this the Black Dragonborn that wasn't your friend but now is still with you anyway?" Okay.
Throwing down Mama Swizzle because she was hurting me slightly. Just not throwing, but dropping down Mama Swizzle. I say, yes, this is Shadow. As we've come to a bit of a understanding with each other, isn't that right, Shadow?
A begrudging one at best, but yes, we are, for now, united. He gives a sickly sweet smile, like a begrudging kind of, I'm here, smile to Mr. Swinford.
So, Mr. Swinford, what information do you think you need in order to understand more about this event that happened? I wasn't able to ask many good questions, as I was critically told by the DM that I asked bad questions.
Oh, wait, I'm working on, like, no hours of sleep here, so can you remind me what exactly you asked last time that I talked about, apparently? So you're saying you
I
didn't
just
ask
asked
Mr.
what
Swinford
it was
enough or
supposed-
something?
No, I didn't. I don't believe I asked Shadow enough. I think that's what you're critical of. But I was trying to figure out what the event was what they were trying to do, what the cult was trying to do, and that's basically what I asked.
Oh, okay.
And the information that I got.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Mr. Swinford kind of gestures to the sitting room and says, why don't we take a nice sit down and we can all talk about these many things that we have to discuss. I'll summon my wife shortly. I think she's currently dealing with the professor. Honey, is he gone yet? And you hear a call back. He won't leave. He's trying to take more wine.
Please say that right in front of the man. That's hilarious.
Yes, you hear a elderly mumbling from the other room. So I guess you all take a seat in the sitting room by the nice little fire.
Yes.
All right. So Shadow kind of sits crossing his arms, and he like tries to adjust himself a couple times because his tail is like getting bunched up by the fluffy chair. But he eventually gets comfortable and kind of flicks his forked tongue angrily. What would you like to do to begin this discussion?
So, I guess because you all haven't been formally introduced, Shadow, this is Mr. Swingford? Isn't that how it's pronounced?
Mr. Swinford, yes, that is fine.
Swinford.
Yes.
Mr. Swinford, this is the person who saved you and me, but I got them to save you, so I was still helping.
Could you say that again? I'm confused. Shadow did
Did I
not
cut
save.
out?
Well, no, the wording confused my tired brain.
This is so Mr. Swinford is the person who saved you talking to Shadow and me.
Okay, so Mr.
But I
Swinford
got them
saved
to save
Shadow and you, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking you were saying Mr. Swinford, this Shadow is the person who saved you.
Yeah,
I was confused. Sorry. All right, cool. So, Mr. Swinford nods his head gratefully. Or wait,
Shadow.
Shadow.
yes, sorry. Shadow nods his head gratefully. Well, my life is in both of your hands. Thank you for your deed. Though I still do not understand why.
That doesn't matter too much. Anyway, we need to know more about what this cult is about. What are you worshipping?
What we are worshipping is the unknown raven.
Have I heard of that before?
Well, you did discuss that briefly in your last interaction, and Mama Swizzle said they had seen her or had some information
Right,
about
that's
her.
true. Right.
And he seemed intrigued by the fact that Mama Swizzle had been touched by her, and had a stone feathery finger at this or stone finger at this point.
Is the cat still watching Mama Swizzle?
No, you have entered the building at this point, and the lady who had the cat has left. She went down the street and is no longer at the house.
Okay, Mama Swizzle's calmed down then.
It actually looked like she was going towards an airship of some kind to probably depart entirely. Yeah, so you're no longer in
One cat
threat
down.
of a cat. Yeah.
It's one less cat that you have to worry about.
So yes, we worship the unknown raven, this cult. You asked where it came from? Is that what you said?
Sure, we'll say that I said that because that's probably what I was going to ask next.
My brother and I helped to found this cult after the destruction of our mutual employer.
Wow, so we found the important person. Somebody who literally founded the cult. That's interesting. Sorry, I was just talking to myself.
He was not supposed to come with you, but here we are. I'm happy about it. I have to improvise. Except my brain's so tired.
That would probably mean that you have a lot of information on the events that were going on there. Do you know what it caused? No, because we've discussed this as well. I'm trying to remember what we've discussed and what we haven't.
Well, if you want, we can just kind of start from scratch, clean slate.
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to because we already discussed things, and like there's some things that I want to have the prior knowledge on.
I was unconscious during whatever events transpired, so I can't be sure what did happen. I am as curious as you as to what occurred. You said you didn't have much knowledge on what was supposed to occur, and therefore you didn't tell me much. So it seems we're both in the dark about what occurred.
We're wanting to.
If you tell me what
Fix
did
it.
happen, I'll tell you what was supposed to happen.
Mama Swizzle, Mama Swizzle.
Poor Ray.
Well, it's can oft actually we can show you later on, but there's now a crater where the
Yes.
ceremony
Yes,
was happening.
we've been actually trying to seal it off so that no one can get to the mysterious rift that was created. My wife and I are trying to use our enchanting protection magic to keep it contained and safe as much as possible away from the public eye, so it does not become a problem. Sorry, just helping out where I can.
Thank you. I'm glad that you all got on that. So yes, there's the crater and a rift to whatever this evilness is.
Then the professor, who's a bumbling idiot, pokes his head in from the other room. Sorry, couldn't help but over here. It's the Abyss. I helped look into it a little bit. It's a portal to the Abyss. Very scary, very dangerous. I'm off anyway. I have to go back to the Citadel to prepare for a
Are
teaching
we sure
stint.
that that's the
Substitute
technical
teaching.
term for the evilness? Because I was really banking on evilness, not a bit.
Yes, you can call it whatever you want to. Potato, tomato, tomato, tomato. It doesn't matter. Anyway, and you can see he's got another
correct.
bottle of wine that he's like trying to wrestle out of Lady Swinford's arms as he's heading towards the door
I
as
love
well.
Doc. Best guy.
Oh boy. So anyway, I'll leave this thing to you. This is far beyond my expertise, but you've got, more than enough spellcasters to deal with this situation, and frankly, I've had more than my fair share of adventure, so, yes, I don't like how it follows me wherever I go. I gotta go back and, have, a healthy amount of drink. Healthy amount being the operative word. And then he also just kind of heads out the front door with Lady Swinford just kind of exasperately slamming the door behind him and then coming to join you guys. Sorry to derail things.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of NPCs in this house.
Yeah. So, Shadow, that was the events. I mean, specifically what went down there, well...
It was supposed to
The
open a
two
gateway to the Shadowfell. How the Abyss
Shadowfell,
became
that
involved.
works. Evilness work,
Evilness is a better term. It is quite
Thank you.
impressive, actually.
you.
Very fitting.
Thank you. I mean, I was just spitballing it, but I know, I'm pretty good.
What exactly are we talking about here?
The evilness, the rift,
Are we?
yeah.
We're trying to coin it the evilness, are we?
I think everybody else here has agreed that it's good so far, so.
You
She
can
cocks her head off to the side.
Mama
you
Swizzle
see her
agreed.
just kind of lock eyes with you, Mama Swizzle, and she's just like getting your opinion.
Mama Swizzle shakes her head no.
QZ continuing to not understand as QZ is bad at understanding Mama Swizzle. Thinks that this is acknowledging that yes, it is good. Mama Swizzle agrees. See?
Yes,
Mama
sure.
Swizzle just face palms that time.
Have we made any additional progress in understanding what happened? Does your friend or potential friend have anything to enlighten us about?
Well, I would love to see it. Is that enough information, Shadow, for you to let us in on more of what this evilness is?
So you say the ritual somehow opened a gateway to the abyss instead of the
Evilness,
Shadowfell.
yes.
The
Mama Swizzle.
evilness, as we're calling it. Why, I cannot say. I don't understand what happened while I was out. You say you saved my life,
Yes,
but I
I have more information that could be helpful. So
so you were
while
conscious
there,
as it happened, it seems.
yes, yeah. I mean, how else would I have saved you? Gotten them to save you.
Hmm.
Yes. So, you know, the events were happening, and your two sacrifices, they escaped, but they also saved you. So don't be upset. They escaped, but then the leader lady, she was like, "All right, I'll just sacrifice some cult members instead." So that happened.
Yes. Wait. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, he doesn't know that. Sorry. He was unconscious during that whole thing. So he just kind of seems shocked by this, and he's like,
Mama Swizzle points at him. Mama Swizzle.
meanwhile, Lady Swinford and her husband are surprised at the point where they hear that Shadow was the one trying to sacrifice them. So there's a lot of like raised eyebrows and suspicious eyes kind of looking at each other.
You see, this just like
The room is very tense. It's hard to play three different characters that like hate each other's guts at the same time, but you get the vibes of
it's okay
like
as long
the
as there's tea.
room. You could cut the tension with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So does that help at all? I don't know if it was specific who needed to be sacrificed when whoever was sacrificing those cult members spoke. They said it did not matter, but I mean, from my little understanding of these magics, it typically does matter who.
His tail
You know.
flicks and then kind of wraps around his legs as he ponders for a moment.
Like, you know, I'm pretty sure Virgint is required.
Yeah, clearly that worked for the husband and wife.
They didn't have a baby yet, so.
Yeah, they failed to consummate. You know, problems on
They
the
were
man's
too
side.
busy learning magics, yeah. So, from my understanding of the events of the evening, we had gathered to perform our cult ritual and make our sacrifices of these two lovely individuals. Then you and your friends came out of nowhere and began to ruin things. And my
Sounds like us.
associate, the de facto leader of our cult, you say she, instead of continuing to sacrifice the hostages, she decided to sacrifice cult members for some reason.
Mama Swizzle.
And what happened after that?
Well, I was like, that seems even worse. So I tried to stop her. We fought for a little bit. And I mean, honestly, it's really foggy for me, but I wasn't able to stop it.
Stop what?
The sacrifice.
So the Soul Forge was active, but what ended up happening? Who was the sacrifice?
I don't know them.
There wasn't a sacrifice. Just DM.
It wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, nobody ended up getting sacrificed. It just kind of, exploded.
Oh,
ended up going completely wrong.
I was able to hold her off long enough because I could have sworn that
Yes.
like one of them made it through.
Nope.
No. Both
Okay.
both Dragonborn were getting dragged towards it, but then the spellcasters came back, and there was kind of back and forth
Right,
deciding what they
right,
wanted to
right,
do.
right.
Chaos,
Okay.
destruction,
Okay.
nothing.
Animal
The other
cracker.
dragon died. protecting
Yeah.
himself.
He died
Animal
killing
character?
Antera.
No.
I would love one.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you. Oh, we're on
I
camera.
just,
Sorry.
I just thought that one of them. I thought one of them had been sacrificed, but not the other. I don't know why.
Nope. Both Dragonborn survived. Well, I mean, one survived. One
Survived.
got cremated. The other one, and then the two Swinfords obviously made it out alive.
Well, when I think about it more, yes, I was barely able to hold her off, and that's when the Swinfords came back, and well, they, I think, prevented it.
By the way,
Rescued us.
you just said that a cult or cult members were being sacrificed. You didn't specify that it was him and his brother.
I don't want him to know
Okay.
that it was him.
Sure. Okay. That's your
Because
technical
I-
information to reveal or not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Could you say?
I might
Remind
have
me
to
of the
roll
last.
deception when I said I don't know them. Do you want me to roll deception on that?
Well, no, because that was for the person that was sacrificed, but there was no one sacrificed. So, what did you
Okay,
end up
but-
saying
but
in
we-
response to
but
his
we-
question of who ended up getting sacrificed or something?
Well, who was going? We could just say that question was who was going to be sacrificed instead, and
okay, sure.
and I would have still said I don't know them.
Okay, so in that case, yeah, sure, roll deception. Well, actually, I mean, technically you are telling partial truth because you don't really know them personally.
Yeah,
either way,
roll with advantage.
either way, you
Yeah,
succeeded.
that
So
would be it.
yeah,
I know one of them,
Mhm.
not both. Okay.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
yeah.
So he kind of nods. Well,
Thanks, babe.
if you asked the requirements of the sacrifice, they were supposed to be a man and a woman, and they were supposed to be, according to our prophecy, great protectors of the realm.
Okay, drop it. She's playing fetch too close to us.
I see.
I
So
So you're telling me that what went wrong was an improper sacrifice was
sacrifice.
offered, and
improper, and it was not completed.
Thanks.
Well, one way or another, it seems what ended up occurring with the Soul Forge, or Soul Engine, whatever it's called. Soul Engine. Soul Forge.
Insult.
We'll call it the Soul Engine, sorry. What did you say, Eva?
I said insoles, like that go in your shoes.
Yeah. Did you witness what occurred after the sacrifice was concluded?
Man, it's been so long. Did I?
You basically, I mean, you know it exploded. There was a
think
big flash
yeah,
of light.
I know that it exploded. Like, I know the result of it. And, like, yeah, so...
Mama Swizzle saw. She's still in the
Okay.
room. I don't know if Mama Swizzle wants to interject at all.
I can't remember. It was all happening so fast, and honestly, that was right when the Swinfords were grabbing me and you and getting us out of there.
It seems one way or another, the Soul Engine was lost, and the ritual was demolished.
Yeah.
I can't say how exactly the mistaken portal was opened. All I can say is it was not meant to end that way. Well, you say you wish to fix this. I wish to as well. What do you propose?
Well, I don't know much of any way to fix it. Swinfords have been holding off or sectioning off that area, and well, the beholder mayor of the town has gone to fight whatever evil is coming from the evilness to fend it off. But
I see. You see the gears kind of turning in his head. At
he's a
about
He
robot?
sees the gears turning.
He's a robot?
no,
He's
not
a
literally.
robot?
You can just see him kind of thinking to himself as he's like, kind of putting pieces together. At about this. That was weird. I'm in an unfamiliar house and I heard a strange noise. Anyway, you at about this time hear a unfamiliar noise at the door. A person appears to be entering, and it's probably about noon at this point. But you hear probably a back door open, and then you see passing by the room what looks like a maid. She's just tattered clothing, rips in it, covered in blood, in dirt and grime. She looks like she's been attacked by rats or something. She's looking pretty exhausted, and she just kind of tromps through as quickly as possible, as though she's trying to not be seen by anyone. And then,
Okay, but we hear her.
yeah, you hear her and you see her kind of walk past, trying to sneak past the doorway, but she just walks past in full view. It's behind the Swinfords, who are facing you, but you and Mama Swizzle and Shadow see this. And then as she walks, she passes out of view, and then like a moment or two later, you see her kind of step back and just kind of look and lock eyes with Shadow for a moment.
Wait, then, because the second that I heard the noise, I was, is there a blanket nearby inside this room, or is like
Yeah, there's a
okay,
throw blanket.
the second that I
couch.
hear this noise of somebody walking by, I grab the blanket and I throw it on Shadow.
Okay, sure. Roll me. I don't
Sleight
know
of
what.
hand.
Sure, sleight of hand. See how well you cover him.
Oh, it's a crit.
Nice. Okay.
24 total.
Vroom! This blanket was bigger than you thought it was. Like he is just a like
It's a wicked
human
blanket,
6
too.
foot humanoid shaped just. Bloom.
He's a
He's
ghost.
a blob now. The entire chair is covered. It's just a giant, like, knitted blanket. And he just goes, "Ugh." Is this your method of capturing me?
Hiding you, shut up.
And then the maid, takes her double take back and looks into the room for a moment in confusion. She kind of gives a
He
look
just
up and down
waves.
for a second. And then she turns and goes. Okay.
I take the blanket off of Shadow.
Okay, he just kind of looks at you very annoyed. Like, you can feel his hatred oozing out of every scale in his body.
Hey, I told you that I was gonna keep you safe. That's what I'm gonna do.
That was safety. I'm supposed to feel hugged by the warmth of this wool.
There was somebody walking by. We didn't know who it was. I don't need you being seen by anyone.
He just shrugs.
Mama Swizzle waddles up to him and gives him a hug on his leg.
Is this normal?
So, Shadow, are there any other cult members, like, around who weren't at the ritual, who might be able to help us get more information, or might know how to reverse the effect or have another ritual, preferably not involving sacrifice, that can undo this.
All from my cult were to be present at this gathering, this offering.
Okay, but like somebody had to be late. Like, didn't you do a head count beforehand? Was
We
everybody
all
there?
wear hoods. We didn't exactly take roll.
A hood count then.
There may be those that have survived, but I did not have high hopes. If you weren't there at the gathering, well, you would miss out on salvation from death. You would burn in the ashes of the world's destruction.
Worst time to forget that you left your,
The iron
your
on.
fridge door open, the iron on, or stove on.
I have not heard of any other members of my cult surviving. Of course, it has only been a night. You ask whether there is a counter ritual, or perhaps if there is more information that will aid us. I do know of a way, perhaps. Far to the east, far to the west, there is a
Far
castle.
to the west.
There is a castle that was once owned by my master. It is where he perished. Perhaps at that location there is information that could yet be helpful to our cause. I learned what little I know of his workings from there, and using that knowledge, my brother, I, and our companion, who you say perished in the battle. Did you say that she perished? Or did you tell me that?
I don't remember him saying
No, I didn't say that she perished
Okay.
specifically, but I said that I held her off long enough
Gotcha.
to prevent the sacrifice, and then that the Swinfords escaped with us.
Mhm.
And I mean, implied in that is that no one else escaped.
Gotcha. Okay. So he then says, and our late cult leader, we developed the knowledge required to carry out our master's wishes in his absence. Granted, it is dangerous, and I was not granted privy to all the secrets we uncovered, so I can only hope there are information and artifacts left behind to help us attain our future goals.
I must was.
So I just need it recapped in
Yep.
us talk.
Sure. So
because
basically,
that's the level I'm at right now.
yeah, me too. Honestly, I'm sorry. This is such a drag. I'm like operating on 1% brain capacity, trying to like glean through my notes that I haven't prepared through very easily, and then turn it into multiple characters talking. So basically, he said that if you asked like how this cult came about, or like what they were trying to do, something like that, and he said he and his brother and this other person that was the leader of their cult,
Leader.
they kind of worked together to uncover the secrets that their previous master had been working on, and they used the knowledge they found in his castle far to the west to bring about this new cult experience they were doing. summoning evil things
Yeah,
2.0.
Okay.
So basically, he
So-
suggests that maybe that place will have information about
exactly.
what exactly they were doing,
Yeah.
how exactly they were doing it, and maybe have the artifacts they need to bring it forward. If you'd like, you can roll insight.
Can I roll outsight, actually?
You can roll that too. I don't know what that does, but just for fun.
If it's 20, then I win the entire game. So that's a 13.
hmm He seems stony-faced. It's hard to read his expression, but that's what he said. His words seem to have been chosen carefully.
Okay. Well, then we'll travel west, I guess. How long of a journey is it, and who do you think should join you?
He looks suspiciously at the Swinfords, who kind of, give him just as suspicious of a look. And they say, and he says, I think we should take with us those we need to remain safe in a dangerous environment. However, I wish for no more prying eyes than are necessary to arrive there. Assemble your team as you see fit.
Mama Swizzle. She raises
I'm
her
gonna
hand.
I invite the entire town.
All right, everybody over here.
Okay. Um, okay. I think I know some people around who might be able to help us out. Is this old master, still around?
No, he killed himself in his searchings, which is how my brother and I were released from his employment and instead became the leaders ourselves and founded this cult to carry on his goals in his stead. Granted, we
see.
did not have the expertise necessary to actually execute such magics.
I see. And then
The
Is there-
lieutenant was the key, and therefore she became the leader.
is there any danger within this castle, you say?
He nods, as I said, very much yes. Bring
Like
those you wish.
Traps, or are we talking beasts? What do we have to fear there?
Let us say the evilness remains. The echoes of that place live on in mystery. I remained in that place as little time as I could.
Then
You see like him falter for a moment. He seems actually scared of going back there.
Aw,
Ah,
I wouldn't do that to Shadow. Shadow, you can stay behind. I'll just find it myself.
my brother and the lieutenant were the main purveyors of that place. They came back changed. I, however, did not venture beyond the threshold. It was dangerous.
Thank you for sharing, Shadow. And whatever horrors went on there, I'm sorry. I have someone else in mind who can join us, maybe help, maybe find someone who can better help us. But I think just us three, you, me, and Mama Swizzle, will be the ones to go. Mama Swizzle, because I'm not going to let her out of my sight. Can't lose anyone else.
Mama Swizzle.
I see. Well, I have a way for us to get there. And he kind of looks to the Swinfords, who are still kind of just like sitting there. They finally speak up. Wouldn't it be wise, if this is such a dangerous place, for an experienced spellcaster to join you, perhaps? Or maybe even send an army to investigate this evil castle and sort out whatever mysteries are within it or whatever. Tear it down brick by brick if we have to save our town.
I might be getting the wrong sense, but I feel as if more delicate hands are going to be needed. We don't need to be sending in an army. It should just be light, small amounts can get
Ha ha ha.
around quickly. And
And what makes you say
I-
that? Do you think you can sneak past this evil without it noticing you?
more just the less at risk, the better.
The less lives at risk? Well, what if you disappear into this deadly castle and are never seen or heard from again? We'll just have to send more after you. And we won't have our Dragonborn guide.
Well, you all should stay, simply to protect the rift, make sure it doesn't grow. And as for everyone else, I don't know if they will be able to trust Shadow as we have. And that's exactly the reason why I am going to call upon an old teacher of mine, an old guardian, and see if they can get some help. If we don't return, we'll say in 2 weeks' time, a fortnight, or we don't send word back, then, well, then I guess you'll just have to find another way to fix this.
Very well. For
10
the
kills on
purpose
the board right now.
for the purpose of protecting the rift, I agree. And he goes over to a display case in his sitting room and kind of rummages around in a chest for some objects for a moment, and then returns holding two smooth rocks, looking like they're river rocks that have been dyed orange. He hands one of them to you. It's got some runes etched into it, it seems, and has been inlaid with crystal in the little gaps between where the grooves have been carved. He hands it out to you. This is a sending stone. It can contact me should you need help, or
It's warm. Drops it.
you can contact me with the sending spell to let us know your progress and what has occurred, good or ill.
I appreciate this. Kuzith does not know exactly how it works, but he's also too insecure to ask how it works. And he's like looking at it a little bit, and he's just like, it's just a stone, and
do
like,
do you know how one of those works? It's rather new technology. Or
oh
magic,
yeah,
I mean.
yeah, new. I mean, I've heard of it before. No, I've never used one.
You just trace your finger along the runes, honey.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I could have figured it out. Thank you though.
Oh, you're welcome. She gives you a small wink.
Well, Shadow, I think Mama Swizzle at the very least needs a bit of a rest before this journey, and I'm sure that it would be nice for both of us as well. How about tomorrow noon around we leave? Should give me enough time to find and contact my acquaintance.
Hmm.
Mama Swizzle.
If you require assistance in contacting your friend, acquaintance. Perhaps I can help with that too. I know some, I wouldn't say too high level magic. I'm no member of the Citadel like the professor was, but I may be able to help you out depending on how well you know him. It sounds like he may not be the closest person to you, though.
He always left me with a way of contacting him.
Well, very well. I will leave you to it then. And he stands and says, "Well, I have some matters to attend to. I will return into and he looks down in the hallway, and there's just like muddy footprints. Is this sewage? From the maids.
Wait. So when I
who's
threw a
bruised
blanket, whispered to Shadow, there was a person coming. They didn't at all like think to turn around.
They just kind of looked at you as you were covering him, and they thought he was gonna explode and attack
These
someone.
are the dumbest magic casters I've ever dealt with. QZeth is smarter.
EJ
than
is too dumb to keep a world running right now. One way or another, the dude goes, "Maid! Maid! Have you seen her since last night?" And I guess you guys depart at this point, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we really have a
Or-
place to sleep, so that's what I was.
It
going
is
to
noon,
ask.
so I mean you can do what you want to.
Yeah,
If you have anything
but
else
before-
you'd like to explore for the day, you are welcome to. As
No,
well.
I mean, I'll try and contact, my
Yeah, you can
my
con-
old guardian, but
You might be able to get a message
I-
out to him through Pelaz, your deaf monk friend.
Well, I think like
Oh wait, no,
Because
actually, this
EJ
is a connection through the.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
sorry,
is
my
this is
bad.
the old connection. Yeah.
Sorry, never
And
mind.
and I think it's okay. It's okay. I think that for this, like he has like some way of like asking for him in like Thieves' Cant or something, like where if he goes to like some location in any town and like writes the like QZeth is not fluent in Thieves' Cant, he would just only know a few words to get this one message across to find him.
I'll say you're new to this town, but you might have heard of the Jackals, which you unwittingly ran into during your fight. They might be able to help you. They're kind of a connected underground network of criminals who may have connections to send a message to someone of the type you're describing. Maybe not, but it's worth a investigation.
Yeah, worth a try.
Sorry we didn't get
Okay.
to the other team again until 6 minutes remain. So we may have
You
to
know what?
call
This
this
is a
episode of
good-
D&D here.
Yeah, it's a good ending point. We can start fresh.
Yes, with a fresh brain.
Yes.
Sorry this one didn't quite live up to the expectations as always.
No,
but
I had fun.
yay, cool.
I mean, it's always
This
hard.
one exceeded my expectations.
Ooh, thank you.
It's always hard for me to be like the sole leader inside this because Mama Swizzle just cannot speak. And I get
Yeah.
so easily distracted.
Yeah. I love Mama Swizzle's interjections and sign language though. The charades.
Honestly, Mama Swizzle helps bring me back on track more often than I would like to say.
Meanwhile, EJ's out here dealing with me throwing fastballs at him.
Yeah, that was fun. I need to come up with some more girl voices that I can actually do. I had one for Lady Lillian, and then you didn't even talk to her.
If you want, you could just pick one of us and send us a DM and
Of
have us voice
everything-
them.
you know, just like typing out everything I want her to say line
Yeah,
by line. That's
exactly.
gonna take so long. It's gonna slow everything down.
And then like you go off
Voice
script.
changer might be an option.
Yeah, maybe a voice changer.
All right.
It
I
wouldn't
gotta go to
necess-
bed and stuff and clean
Yeah.
up because
Yeah.
my boy's gotta get in here because he has work in the morning.
Mhm.
This was fun.
Yeah, thank you so
I'll
much. It was
See ya.
great.
Later, guys.
Have a good night, Light.
Bye.
See
Have
ya.
a good night, Light.
Mhm.
It was also funny that like that interaction was probably like the slowest 3 talking characters that we have been introduced to so
Oh,
far.
Yeah.
Shadow, QZ, And I mean, QC sped up a couple of times there where he was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then the Swinfords
Yeah.
just all over some tea.
I don't have good voices for the Swinfords. They're just kind of generic
That's okay.
me talking voice.
That's okay.
Generic EJ voices.
Mm-hmm. What really helps me to do the voices well is if I have like a picture of their character, so I can like embody that and remember what vibe I wanted to go for. But when I don't, like with these characters, because they were just supposed to be side characters, I expected them to get sacrificed way back in the day. I didn't expect to have to deal with these guys for this long. And now I have to. Yeah, so I didn't have
that I
references.
just won't
for
let you kill people. It's okay.
No, it's great. This is how the stories get formed, and I am excited to see where you guys take it. You've thrown me a lot of curveballs, and I'm excited. Hopefully, my brain will be in better gear next time because I will not have to drive 9.5 hours in one day, plus all kinds of other nonsense. Actually, probably more than that. In order to
Unless you have to
move
drive
down
back on the same Monday, imagine.
that would be awful. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out. It was real fun. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it so much, Kat, that it exceeded your expectations. That's great.
I had very low expectations.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well, now the truth comes out. Okay, well, yeah, that's all I had. See you guys next week. Next time on D&D.
Okay, bye bye, Cap. Bye bye, Palm.
Good night.
Bye.